It can't be that bad. First of all, let me just congratulate all high school folks out here, all high school coaches, obviously. My favorite college coach, Willie Brett's done an amazing job. He's done it 2 ways. It's truly remarkable. I don't think we can appreciate it up here. We don't appreciate it often. Thank you so much. One of the cool things about high school football, and I'm sure a lot of folks in this room may know about it, although the stats kind of flown under the radar. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, but I was at the last NFL owners meeting, and there was a discussion about participation in high school football. And this was the first year that we've seen in many years that we've actually seen an uptick in high school participation in tackle football. So there were many years where, because of various reasons, some being health and other issues, that people will perhaps suggest to their children that they should play football, but I think we've addressed a lot of those issues. Still have a long way to go with regards to player health, but at least we're getting some confidence back. And to your point, Coach, it's so much more than just an athletic point of football. It's the stories behind and all the struggles and leadership and challenges that kids learn, which is so important. And to be quite honest with you, it's not just got boys either, right? We're starting to see high school participation for girls in flag football, which is great. We're going to see flag football as an Olympic sport, and so the game of football is in a very good position, both obviously locally, regionally, nationally here, but also internationally. So we're excited to do our small part in the game of football. I would say this, that Coach, I would tell you, as much as you think you get out of Tulane using our facilities, I promise you, when we see the buses pull up, we're all excited that they're on our campus, and you're using our facilities, and you're doing well. I can promise you, we look out the windows and see you pulled up, and there's always, it's usually followed by, God, those guys are doing so good. We're so happy for them. So keep up the good work, and we're excited that we can do the small part. Kenny, again, I know, one of the things I know. Ken's been around for a very long time, and again, I've been around. I haven't been along for a long time, but my God, I've been along for a long time. But Kenny, I remember when we first started out way back when, I remember having a discussion about the Sugar Bowl and how important the Sugar Bowl was for our community, and that how important it was that if we were going to be successful as a community from a sports standpoint, we couldn't compete against each other. We all had to work with each other. And up until around that point, everybody was kind of doing their own thing, kind of their own, ethos, and they were focused on what they were doing. And really, I would tell you, in the last couple of decades, since I think we've all really looked at each other and how can we help each other, we really have seen some tremendous success in our region, in our city. So, at the end of the day, sports is an industry, and we have to do whatever we can to support it, and I'm very excited that I think we're in a very good position. There's so many negative stories about industry and business activity. One that is positive is what we're doing in football and sports, so we have to keep that going, even with the changing world. But one area you mentioned, basketball, we were undefeated then too. That has not been the case. Tonight is our first in-season tournament home game. And so you can see some interesting things. It's a really good initiative by the commissioner, Adam Silver, to get this going. And a big part of it was to increase viewership during this football time of the year, get some eyeballs on basketball. So you can see some live things. You can see you'll see a purple court tonight, which we did design. Unless you like it, then we designed it. You can see some new uniforms and a lot of other things that are going on. And the one thing that we did do was, if the players win the in-season tournament, they get $1 million. And so we said, I tell you what, if we win the in-season tournament, we're going to give away $1 million. If you go to a game and we win the whole tournament, then you'll be eligible to win money out of $1 million pool. And so we're kind of excited. Hopefully, it builds a little enthusiasm and gets folks to show up at the game. As it relates to the football team, obviously. This is our bye week. We did have some injuries. That's not an excuse. I very much feel and happy to feel, as Willie does, that 5-5 just doesn't cut it for us. And that expectation is that we'd be much better than we are. Even though we are within the division, that's nowhere near where we want to be. We have a lot of football left. We have some injuries that we have to overcome. The good thing, I think, in our building, the thing that we're optimistic about is that we truly believe we haven't played our best game yet, and we still have a lot of work to do with the things that are fixable. We can make a strong push. The schedule actually works out pretty well for us for the remaining games. So look, it's right there. It's there for us to grab. It's there for us to win this division and make a strong push in the playoffs. And it's on the coaches and players and the staff to make sure we're able to accomplish that. On the basketball side, we started out kind of strong and then kind of faltered here the last handful of games. No excuse there, other than we got to get our act together. And I know Willie and his group were really focused on getting the team back focused. And regardless of who's on the board, it doesn't matter. We still have to win. And so I know he's focused now. We have a very good coaching staff. Some new coaches we brought in this year. So again, we're very early in the season, kind of won't be going pretty tough. On the kind of things that I spend most of my time on the Superdome, we're halfway through our construction. The first half was completed. I'd say the first half was probably around 40% of the construction was completed for this season. Obviously, if you ever been through a home renovation and you're about halfway, 40% through, and you say, let's have a party, you kind of hold your breath and you're like, I really don't want people to come over until it's 100% done. But for the 40% that was done, we did unbelievable feedback. People were really excited. It's some of our highest scores as it relates to customer experience on that side. Still, obviously, we'll publish that when it has to be completed. We'll have that completed. Hopefully, not with us. It'll be completed by the start of next season. So we're moving there as well. The other thing that I don't see anybody from the Great World Sports Foundation here, they must have there they are. I'm sorry. I tell you what, I know they've been very busy because we have the Super Bowl coming in a year, and I can tell you that Jay and his group and these folks at this table have been working overtime as it relates to getting all things that need to be done for the Super Bowl. It's amazing how much has to be done. You're kind of like, all right, we're just going to burn a game, right? We have so many home games already. We have so many parties in the city of New Orleans. It's just one more thing. My goodness, it's not just one more thing. There's so much more that goes into it. It's really kind of head scratching. And anyway, I know those folks are working their tails off right now. And so you'll see a lot more over the course of the next year as it relates to the Super Bowl preparation. On the Pell side, I mentioned the in-season tournament. The other thing that I mentioned that's kind of exciting is that we have to figure out what we're going to do for the future of the Pels as it relates to an arena. And we still have a long ways to go in that, but we've started the process of looking at what the next phase of the arena is going to be. Either it's going to be a renovation like we did in the Superdome or something else. I'm not sure what that something else is. But the reality of it is that we started that process. We have a whole bunch of architects that are working on it, and at the end of the day, we want to have a long-term solution. We want these franchises locked in on long-term basis with the state so that, God forbid anything happen, these franchises are here forever. So anyway, we're working on that. That's exciting stuff. I'm sure over the course of next year, you might get word that some of that work is going on. Again, it's exciting stuff, and we're pulling a lot of fans and season ticket holders to get their opinion on that type of stuff. So anyway, that's really what's kind of going on. I don't want to keep you much longer than that, but I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Yeah, go ahead. NBA expansion, there's always discussion on NBA expansion. Obviously, the issues with NBA or NFL or any other type of expansion is, as you kind of, if you're not increasing the size of the pie, but you're chopping the pie up before it makes folks get a smaller piece of the pie. So if you're going to expand, you have to make sure that you're going to be able to increase the size of the pie. And if you're looking across both leagues, where do you increase the size of the pie? I mean, that's going to be some of this international, right? And then the question is, how big is that pie going to increase? As it relates to the NBA, I mean, it is remarkable how global that sport is. I mean, all you have to do is look at the tournament this summer and see, how America performed, versus all the other countries. And if you look at, I think it's, gosh, I forget the number, that's certainly higher than 35%. It might be, can't check this, in the 40s. Foreigners who are on active rosters in the NBA. It truly is a global sport. So the question really becomes, do you expand globally and how big do you expand globally? And if incrementally that pie can grow substantially bigger, then it makes a lot more sense to expand. And the question, I think, if you really think outside the box, is how big do you expand? I mean, do you take a nibble and go to 2 teams? Or is it big enough to go 30 teams? And think about that. If you go 30 teams and you have 15 teams in Europe and 15 teams in Asia, I mean, that's pretty remarkable. And you start talking about the size of markets, and I know we kind of say how small our market is, but I often joke with the owner of the Mavericks, we talk about revenue sharing and we talk about, small markets. And it's like, if we could just move it, it didn't matter, right? I guess we'll go to Tokyo, and then you're a small market, we're a big market, and we won't share any money with you, right? And so we get a big joke out of joking about that. But yeah, I mean, it could be transformative, basically, for the league if we do something like that. On the football side, I don't know. I think international is certainly where we're headed. You're seeing opportunity to play in Europe. You start to see, really are starting to see viewership significantly increase in Europe right now. That's always been. This year, that's why you play the games, but they're why you play the games over there, what they are. It can be very difficult to pack up all your stuff, head over there. It can be difficult, but we're starting to see good returns on that as a league. And so I think we continue to see that. You may have read or heard that the Saints have the rights for France. We've been meeting with French dignitaries and ambassadors, and it probably wouldn't be out of the realm of the possibility that you'll see here pretty soon us doing events in France, So there really is an affinity in France for many things in Louisiana and many things in New Orleans, and I think they're actually warming up to football as well.
What about all the players flying back and forth for 10, 12 hours? Are you going to have to change the season and have to play less games if you do something like that?
All that stuff's on the table. You're right. Because, I know the coaches in this room would say the same thing. It first starts with the game and the quality of the game, right? Everything else is secondary to the game and the quality of the game. If you're going to have a good game, obviously you have to have very wealthy and very well-rested and healthy basketball players, and wealthy, I guess, too. Wealthy and healthy, well and healthy basketball players. And in order to do that, yes, I think all of those things come in. We look now for our scheduling for, you hear right now basketball, right? Back-to-backs and players taking off. They really have potential for injury on the back-to-back, and how much time between games. It's so narrowly focused now with regards to scheduling and to the questions you're talking about. If we play like a team in Denver, if we play the Nuggets, not only does the league consider how much time it takes to fly to Denver, I think Denver's airport is the furthest away from downtown anywhere. So if you're coming at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're still going to have an hour drive from the airport to downtown. So even those types of things are taken into consideration. But yes, all those things